Ani. So my name is Paul Lefebvre. I'm the mayor of the city of Greater Sudbury, and I'm very proud to be here this morning for this announcement and to serve as MC on your Masters of Ceremonies this morning as well. As we all know, there is no better place than Greater Sudbury for this announcement. Our region's rich history and vibrant future in the mining sector make it the perfect backdrop for what we are about to unveil. That said, I want to first acknowledge that we are meeting for today's announcement on the traditional lands of the Tikmishing Anishinaabe, and that the large area we consider Greater Sudbury also exists within and adjacent to the territorial lands of the Wanapate First Nation and the Sagamok Anishinaabe. We honor, recognize, and respect Indigenous peoples as the traditional stewards of the lands which we share today. I would like to welcome up Elder Janet McQuabi for an opening prayer.
Ani, bonjour. Good morning, everyone. I was asked to do the opening blessing here this morning, and I am very honored to do so. Welcome, everyone. My spirit name is Kind-Hearted Woman. I am from the Bear Clan, and I am from the Sagamok Anishinaabe First Nation. Creator, grandmothers and grandfathers, thank you for this day, and thank you for this life. Thank you for all the living spirits on this earth, and thank you for Mother Earth, the water, the winds, and the fire. Thank you for everything that you provide for us on this beautiful land and territories of the Tikmishing Anishinaabe, Wanapate First Nation, and Sagamok Anishinaabe, and the 21 First Nations of the Robinson-Huron Treaty area. And we thank you for everyone who is here to work together, to restore, and to rejuvenate our earth for future generations to come. Miigwech for that. Miigwech for our families. Miigwech for all of our relatives. And miigwech again for this beautiful day. Miigwech, 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 miigwech.
Miigwech for the opening prayer this morning. So thank you all for joining us today for this momentous occasion. It's a real honor to be here, and I couldn't be more pumped, I guess is the right word. This is a great day. So before we proceed with the announcement, I first want to extend a sincere thank you to the CEO of Wyloo Ring of Fire, Kristen Straub, for being here with us today. We are honored to have you as part of this event, and I want to personally thank you for your tireless work, which has been instrumental in bringing us here to this historic moment. I am also deeply grateful for Gima Nuchtai and Chief Rock, who are joining us as well today. Your unwavering commitment to your communities and to fostering meaningful partnerships has been invaluable, and we're on the right track. I really appreciate the friendships. Thank you so much, Miigwech. To both MP Marc Serré and Vivienne Lapointe, thank you for being here, and Mr. George Peary. I've seen you often in Sudbury, so good to have you here, and thank you for your commitment and your continued support, all three of you, for the local mining sector, and this mining sector in Ontario and across the country, and in building up our critical mineral supply chain in Northern Ontario. I know all three believe in that, and you bring your message to Toronto and bring your messages to Ottawa to advocate for all the people in this room. So thank you for what you do. And today's announcement certainly would undoubtedly contribute to this building up of this critical minerals supply chain. The collaboration between our government, industry, and First Nations is a cornerstone of today's announcement and is a testament to the strength and potential of our shared efforts. as mayor, and I know I have a lot of council members here today, so thank you for being here. We have worked tirelessly, and I really want to recognize the staff from the city as well that is here. We have really worked tirelessly to bring together the various stakeholders today, ensuring that the potential for Greater Sudbury is realized. Through countless discussions and unwavering dedication, we have reached this significant milestone. What is set to be announced is a result of the strong relationships and trust we have built with our partners. To all the distinguished guests in the audience and all our friends here in the audience, your presence here today also underscores the importance of this announcement. So with this, I welcome our first speaker, and he's very fond of Greater Sudbury. In fact, he grew up not too far from here, just down the street in Falconbridge, and has very strong ties to our community. It is now my distinct privilege to welcome up Kristen Straub, CEO of Wildwood Ring of Fire, to make today's announcement. Kristen, come on up.
Good morning, all, and thank you very much for that warm and welcome and introduction, Mayor Lefebvre. Welcome to our esteemed guest, Jimenuchitai, Chief Rock, Minister Peary, MP Serre, MP Lapointe. It was a pleasure to meet you as well this morning. And to the distinguished members of the community of Sudbury that are here today. Today marks an important journey, a milestone in our journey today towards a cleaner, more sustainable future for Canada and the world. Let me change the slide, Karen. Thank you. It is with great excitement and my privilege today to announce that we are signing a memorandum of understanding with the City of Greater Sudbury. This MOU outlines the securing of land right here in the nickel capital to build a downstream metals and materials processing facility, in which we will establish the first integrated solution of mine to precursor cathode active material, the first of its kind, both in the province of Ontario and here in Canada. This facility will serve as the missing link in Canada's pursuit to develop a robust, self-sufficient electric battery vehicle supply chain by producing low-carbon nickel sulfate and the nickel-dominant precursor cathode active materials, the key ingredients that are for electric vehicle batteries. The significance of this announcement cannot be overstated. To provide a little background as context, an interesting fact, the first electric vehicle dates back to the mid-1830s. In terms of when electric vehicles were around. So it's close to 200 years. But it wasn't until 2012 that the first electric vehicles were found on our streets. Without naming who out there are the players today, because it's an ever-growing and increasing market with close to 600 different electric vehicles that are now being produced globally and across the world. Suffice to say, this rise, and a meteoric rise of electric vehicles, we are now positioning ourselves to be part of that rise and fill a key component within this area. So with this demand and other clean technologies on a global scale, we applaud Canada for its leadership, its foresight in investing over $40 billion to date, either through here in Ontario, through efforts in Quebec, and through the rest of Canada. We applaud the work that's been done to continue to develop this space and to grow this space and build Canada and Ontario as a global hub for the EV industry. But with these investments, it has become increasingly evident that our current infrastructure is lacking one critical aspect: the conversion of nickel-bearing materials, like concentrates, into battery-grade chemicals that are required for electric vehicles. In the urgency to bolster North America's capacity for processing metals, in particular for nickel, it's never become more apparent. With this facility, we are addressing a gap of producing materials to supply roughly 250,000 electric vehicles a year, and that number is set to more than triple as we introduce third-party feeds into the facility, thereby laying a foundation for a sustainable and resilient supply chain that will fuel the electric vehicle transition for future generations to come. At the heart of this endeavor is our commitment to responsible sourcing, environmental stewardship. The nickel for our facility will be supplied by our proposed Eagle's Nest mine in the Ring of Fire in the northwestern region of Ontario. And with Eagle's Nest as our anchor, and combined with feed from other North American sources, we're building enough capacity to meet roughly 50% of the nickel demand for the announced EV investments exclusively within the North American supply as it stands today. For me personally, growing up in Falconbridge and being a member of the Henvey Inlet First Nation and going to school at Laurentian University, I'll call out Laurentian who's here today, it is exciting to now participate in what we believe is an incredible opportunity with the potential for multi-generational outcomes, not only to support the planet as we participate in the clean energy transition, but equally as important in advancing our projects in a way that promotes genuine partnerships with local Indigenous communities. Our core philosophy is rooted in collaboration and respect for the Indigenous communities wherever our activities take us, whether that's Northwestern Ontario or right here in the Sudbury region. Through active engagement and partnership, we seek to facilitate an Indigenous co-led review process, ensuring that the project designs align with community values and priorities. We acknowledge the history that many nations hold in the area in which we operate and are committed to a relationship with First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples with mutual trust, moving forward in the spirit of reconciliation, respect, reciprocity, and collaboration. I extend my deepest appreciation to the Atikameksheng and Anishinaabeg peoples, Wanapitei First Nation, for their partnership and collaboration as we embark on this journey together. It is through unity and cooperation that we will realize the full potential of this project and usher in a new era for prosperity here in the region. And in my heartfelt gratitude to the City of Greater Sudbury for their support and visioning and fostering a local industry and innovation and looking to create the ecosystem necessary for this transition. Having worked in Sudbury for both major players here in my past career, I know very well the city's long and deep history with the mining industry and come from 3 generations of miners. And today we have the opportunity to continue this legacy and affirm the city's position on the global stage as we build a sustainable future. At Wyloo, our commitment is to deliver responsibly sourced supply of high-grade clean nickel from extraction through to processing. This commitment aims to enable Canada, known for its unparalleled environmental standards and sustainable practices, to be a leader in local investment, in downstream processing, and establish a stable, ethical supply chain without relying on imports from overseas. So lastly, I would like to thank each of you who have made this possible today and your tireless work, whether it's the mining industry, whether it's the regulatory with First Nations, or with the community in the City of Greater Sudbury. Thank you very much for your efforts over the past year to get to this point today, and miigwech.
Thank you, Kristen. Great announcement, as I told you before. So as you heard Kristen mention in his remarks, what sets our region apart, and our community in particular, is our ability to work together, industry, government, and First Nations in pursuit of common goals. It is the spirit of collaboration that has brought us here today and will continue to propel us forward. With that said, it is my honor to welcome Atikameksheng Anishinaabeg Gima Nuchtai to the podium to say a few words. Gima Nuchtai, please come on up.
Ani Buju, Nimed Makwa, Nadijna Kaz, Mong Nandodam, Atikameksheng Nandunjaba, Gama Craig Nuchtai for Atikameksheng Anishinaabeg. I just want to say thank you to our elder for that prayer this morning. It's always important we start this in a good way, and throughout her prayer, she was talking about how important projects like this are to First Nations people, and I feel that way. It was really important that we be part of projects like this. And I was thinking back about 2 years ago, I was speaking at the BEV conference. I was on a panel with Chief Rock, and we were talking about how important it was for First Nations to be active in these kinds of projects. And look at us now, 2 years later, we're announcing this memorandum of understanding to work together with our partner, Kristen Straub and Wyloo, and the City of Greater Sudbury and Wanapitei First Nation. So today is a very blessed day for us because we've all worked so hard for this. We want to see growth in the area. We want to support sustainable growth. We want to be part of the economic opportunities that this project will bring. But we also want to make sure that we're taking care of the land as well as we do this. We want to make sure it's sustainable and we're protecting this for future generations. Because really that's what our main focus is. We are stewards of the land. And we see this as an opportunity to build capacity in our community so that we are part of this EV chain. And as Kristen's slide deck showed, you know, we are in a crucial spot here in the Sudbury area, here in the Tikmikshing, here in Wapatay. It is very crucial that we support this so that we can ultimately help grow this industry and be a part of it for generations to come. And we see this as an opportunity to build a better working relationship with the city of Sudbury and even Wailu and other industry as well. We support business as long as we are part of the entire process from start to finish, from planning through design, through construction, through production and closure. And that's our goal as the Tikmikshing. We're here to participate, we're here to support, we're here to provide our feedback and our guidance where it's needed. And so I'm very excited that we're going to be signing this MOU today. And on behalf of Tikmikshing and Anishinaabeg, I just wanted to welcome you all and say thank you very much. And thank you to Mayor Lefebvre and Kristen Straub and Chief Rock. Miigwech.
It is now my pleasure to invite my friend, Chief Larry Rock, Chief of the Wapatay First Nation. Chief Rock.
Ani Buju, Nidijnakaz, Gimad Larry Rock, Wapatay First Nation, GJEC Clan. I just want to thank everybody for coming. Chief Larry Rock, Crane Clan, Wapatay First Nation, and I can't express we've been working together for a while now, Gimanuchatai and myself, and it's almost like we're reading each other's minds on what to say, and he said a lot of things that I wanted to cover. But one of the most important things is I'm glad that Kristen reached out to us and the Tikmikshing and the city, because to me it's important. I always wondered before, why is everything going down south? Why is all these jobs, why are these plants going down south? So I really appreciate now, finally, that we're going to start doing, the minerals come from the north, so we should create jobs in the north. And Wailu, thank you for doing that. And I appreciate all the hard work that everybody's putting in. It's nice to see the ministers here, the politicians here. And I want to thank Cambrian College for hosting today. It's a beautiful facility here. But it's also true with our community. Our community's looking for opportunity. We just don't want to sit by and watch things progress. We want to be involved. And this is a great opportunity for Wapatay First Nation to be involved in a process amongst one of the things that we're all being involved in now. So it's a great chance for our community to grow. And it's also a great opportunity for the city of Sudbury. Like, I grew up in Sudbury, so it's nice to see these facilities come here so that everybody from the area can prosper in a good way. So, miigwech.
Okay, at this point, I'll invite Gimanuchatai, Chief Rock, as well as Kristen to sign the MOU, and then we'll come back after we've signed, and we'll invite our distinguished guest to address us all. Thank you. So I'll invite everybody to come sign. Thank you. we all know, Greater Sudbury has much to offer, and with today's announcement, we are further signaling our position as the hub of mining and ready for the next chapter. And on that note, I now want to invite Ontario's Minister of Mines, George Peary, to the podium. He is no stranger to Sudbury. He's here often. He's a big champion of mining in Northern Ontario and certainly a big advocate for mining at Queen's Park. So with that, welcoming the Minister of Mines of Ontario, George Peary. Please come up.
Well, good morning, and thank you, everybody, for inviting me to participate in this incredibly important announcement. First of all, to my congratulations to the partners that just signed the MOU. Tremendous accomplishment. I know it means it's meant a lot of probably years of work to get this far. As you know, my son is a fourth generation miner. You know, I was raised in Timmins and at the Miteside village of Domindomex. And I want to speak about a little bit how important it is that this announcement has been made here in Sudbury. Number one, I think it's appropriate that at least two of the speakers at the podium are graduates from Laurentian University. It's very important that this announcement has been made here at Cambrian College. Both #1 rated educational facilities here in Sudbury. The mayor talked about the fact that it's a hub, that Sudbury is a mining hub. Well, it is, of course, a hub for critical minerals as well. And as we move off of fossil fuels and into the battery economy, Sudbury is taking its rightful place as a critical center of that innovation. It's changing the economy. It's also very appropriate that this is somewhat, this is not the right word, but I'd say a marriage of the deposits from the newest of our generational opportunities in the Ring of Fire, and they will be brought to here in Sudbury to lever off of the skills and the successes that Sudbury has and capabilities that Sudbury has generated over many, many years. It's appropriate that it's here in Sudbury because I know Vale and I know Glencore are both completely committed to the new age battery economy. It's evident in everything they do. So it's appropriate that it's happening here in Sudbury. And I want to talk about the capabilities and competencies that have been built over many years with the First Nation communities that we're sitting here today. I would say, and I might be a little bit off with this from a year point of view, but I would say a decade ago this would not have been possible. And if I'm wrong, please tell me so. So the change into a better society that these types of arrangements and agreements mean to our society are incredibly important as we meet the commitments in the Truth and Reconciliation Commission that have been published years ago. We have evidence of that here happening in Sudbury. So this truly is a momentous occasion here. It's appropriate that it's happening in Timmins and in Sudbury. You've heard me say this many, many times, that we don't want the nickel from Indonesia. Why? Because it's financed by the Chinese. It's powered by coal, and the tailings end up in the ocean. We don't want that. We want the nickel to come from Ontario sources, Sudbury, Timmins, and the Ring of Fire. It'll be produced in a clean fashion with full partnerships with the First Nations, and with all parties totally committed to, in fact, ensuring that it's produced sustainably. It's all very important that this is happening in Sudbury. And it feels like, from my point of view, it's all happening at the right time and the right place. It's like the perfect storm that has resulted in all the parties here in Sudbury to make this announcement. It truly is a very important announcement. But as much as I talk about getting off of nickel, not needing the nickel in Indonesia, it's fine for me to talk about that. But there's always been the gap in the supply chain. And what are we doing here today? We're filling that gap in the supply chain. Right here in Sudbury, where the value will be added here in the north, which is where it should happen. So I want to extend my extreme congratulations in that partnerships that have been involved with the Sudbury and Wailu. And municipality, I can't say enough about the leadership that's been demonstrated by the city of Sudbury as well. You've always been leaders for decades, and you continue to take a leading position with Wailu. And I think it's appropriate that Kristen is a kid that grew up in Sudbury. And of course, we've got our chiefs right here that obviously grew up in Sudbury. And it's wrong for me to say that I'm proud. I'm just so I feel like rewarded by the fact that the chiefs are right here today to celebrate these announcements. It's tremendously important. Congratulations. You've demonstrated tremendous leadership. Thank you very much. This has been an incredible day. Thank you very much for inviting me to speak here to talk about this. And I hope everybody recognizes just how important this is. This is a tremendous accomplishment. Thank you very much, Chiefs.
Thank you, Minister Piri, and I couldn't agree more that these partnerships are key, and when our First Nation win, we all win together. That's how we do it in Sudbury, and that's how we'll keep going forward with this. And this, I want to invite our next speaker. So basically, you know, that our city is clearly home to some of the most important mineral deposits in the world. The minister has talked about that, and essential components in the production of high-performance batteries. In fact, I often say this, and if I'm repeating myself to some in the crowd, I don't care. I'll repeat myself again. We are the home to 9 operating mines, and there's more coming on board, 2 mills, 2 smelters, and a nickel refinery, along with world-renowned mining professionals, top-tier educational institutions, which one of them is hosting us today. Thank you to Hebron College, and pioneering research and development initiatives. These, of course, are things well known by our next speaker, who is an extremely strong advocate in the critical minerals sector, and I'm pleased to welcome to our next speaker, Marc Serret, MP for Nickel Belt, and the Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Energy and Natural Resources, and the Minister of Official Languages. Marc has been a strong champion, certainly, of Nickel Belt. It's really interesting. He gets up in the House of Commons, and actually his riding's name is Nickel, right? Nickel Belt. So, and he often jokes about that in the House of Commons just to showcase how the importance of mining is to our region and certainly to his region. And his leadership has gone a long way to support the industry and is a strong advocate. So with that, I'd like to invite Marc Serret, MP for Nickel Belt, Parliamentary Secretary, to the podium to say a few words. Merci, Marc.
Merci. Thank you, Paul. Wow. What a morning, and what a kickoff to the BEV conference for tonight. We're all going to see you all there tonight. Obviously, I just want to thank, obviously, to the opening prayer and also the line acknowledgement that we're on the Tigmashing Anishinaabe, Wanapete First Nation. You're on Robinson Treaty of 1850, and we have so much to give back and to work together. And this is an opportunity that has been a long time in the making, and yes, Minister, this probably would not have been possible a decade or so ago, but this shows the leadership that we have in front of us here, the leadership that looks at how do we look at moving forward. And I often say this from a, since being elected here in 2015, the mining companies are shy. They don't promote themselves very well. Spend billions of dollars. The GDP for the country, the region, and look at Greater Sudbury, what we have to offer currently. Valley, Glencore, now we have Magna Mining, we have Waialua coming in and believing in Sudbury. And this is something that we have to take these opportunities to promote. We have to take these generational opportunities to look at the EV supply chain and how important this is. Obviously, our governments are working closely together. We have Premier Ford, our Prime Minister making several announcements together. The governments are aligned. We have an opportunity here. We have Ford, Stellantis, GM, there's Volkswagen, Honda will be here tonight to speak. But as the Chief mentioned, I also hear often, and we also hear from residents in Northern Ontario, why are we shipping our minerals elsewhere? And the First Nations have been saying this for decades. And this is an opportunity. We have a company, and thank you, Kristen, for believing in Sudbury. Thank you, Waialua, on behalf of Waialua. Thank you. We had a lot more work to be done. We got to get a lot more minerals out of the ground, and we're working with the province on that. But it's important that we look at that, the importance, and the importance is involving the First Nations from day one. And this is an opportunity. And that's why I'm really proud to be here, and with my colleague Vivienne Lapointe, the MP for Sudbury, as champion for Sudbury and the mining, part of the Natural Resources Committee also. Together, we can make that difference. And when we look at a lot of the work that needs to be done, was it the phenomenon recently? And we talk about Southern Ontario, but clearly, we have to pull together Timmins, North Bay, Sudbury. We have to compete against Southern Ontario to get those jobs here on the EV supply chain. We have to make sure that not only the processing plant with Waialua, but we have to look at others. And we look at electro battery in cobalt. There's a lot of other opportunities. And when you look at the expertise in the room, obviously, and a third grad from Laurentian, I'm proud to be a graduate at Laurentian University and worked at Cambrian. I could say the talent, and I think Sean and the team here at Cambrian, the talent and the workers, Mike here from everywhere at Cambrian, the commitment to the industry and really applying that really makes a difference. So on behalf of the federal government, being at the table here, recent budget, we looked at how do we look at one project, one assessment. There is monies in the budget to do that. We're going to be working closely with the province. The BC government is moving towards that as a process for one project, one assessment, how important that is. Currently, we have over 11 projects that are shovel ready to go, all part of the assessment projects already done, but we have to find ways to increase the capital. The capital is difficult. I'm not saying anything different, Kristen, and I know many of you, I think Magna Mining is here. The worldwide capital for mining is difficult, but we have to work together as governments, as First Nations, as municipalities to ensure that we displace what the unfair competition of China is doing. They're not market-driven, and that's changing the entire dynamics in the industry. And I know Peter Xavier here from Glencore has said this several times. We have to make sure that we look at the governments being involved. And that's something that in the past, you let the private sector do its thing. but China has changed that. So we need to find ways to work together. We need to find ways also when we look at, I'm here on behalf of the Minister, Jonathan Wilkinson, and setting up just to be clear, the Canada-US energy tables. Critical minerals is part of that. And we have to look at how can we, with the Defense Act, there's several, over 20 projects, Canadian projects that have applied to the National U.S. Defense Act, but how do we leverage that work and that commitment to make sure that we get the critical minerals out of the ground and part of the supply chain. So I just want to really thank the City of Sudbury, Paul Lefebvre, your leadership. I know you got a lot of the councillors sitting on the front row here, the leadership of your team here in the city, continuing, and how important it is to work with Timmins, the Sioux, and North Bay. And North Bay, a shout out to North Bay. They got the more engineers capital in Canada, more engineers per capita than anywhere else in Canada, because there's a lot of mining sites underground, but there's a lot of mining jobs all over it. So what's good for Sudbury is good for Northeastern Ontario, Northern Ontario, and Canada. So thank you everyone for being here. Merci beaucoup d'avoir fait le travail nécessaire pour s'assurer que Sudbury et le Nord-Ontario ont fait partie de la solution. And this is really important when we look at the supply chain. We got to make sure that we get our fair share, and it's about time that we sit down together and make sure that we work together to make this happen. And I want to thank, lastly, the two chiefs, Gima Nuchichai and Chief Rock, for the leadership that you provide. I know this is one project, and trust me, there's several others. They got drills going and many other projects that need to happen in the area. Alors, un gros merci tout le monde. This is a great occasion, but make sure, and I know I'm preaching to the converted, but make sure that we say loud and clear that we are here. Sudbury is, Northern Ontario, the best place from an R&D, from operating mines to commercialization in the world, and the world needs more of Northern Ontario. So merci beaucoup. Thank you, miigwech.
Merci beaucoup, Marc. As much as I said earlier that nickel belt is synonymous certainly with mining, given nickel, I have to say that Sudbury, even though it's it's an old town out in England, that's become synonymous around the world with mining as well. So when I get a call from the MP for Sudbury saying, Paul, we need to, I have the ear of the minister, what more can we do? We need to do our part, we need to have these investments here, what more? So I get a lot of calls from Vivian saying, I want to help, I want to champion this with you, with us, right? So she has been a staunch advocate for the mining industry, sitting on the Natural Resources Committee, as Mark alluded to, and certainly has the ear of the minister, certainly when it comes to mining, saying, strong champion for Sudbury and Northern Ontario to advocate certainly for the supply chain. And when she's seeing the budgets, give him a call, saying, what can we do? There's money in the budget. I want to advocate. So these types of projects and other projects that we're certainly alluding to, that we're seeing being brought forward in Northern Ontario, she wants to make them happen, and she's a strong champion for our community, or certainly for the riding and for Northern Ontario. And with that, I'll invite Vivian Lapointe to say a few words. Vivian.
Merci, Paul. Bonjour tout le monde. C'est un plaisir d'être parmi vous aujourd'hui et ce matin. Paul, when you started, you said that there is no better place to make this announcement than here in Sudbury, and I couldn't agree more. One of the first roundtables that I attended with mining leaders and Indigenous partners, we were talking about critical minerals, but the message they gave was very clear. And what they said is the critical minerals is not the opportunity for generational wealth, for economic prosperity, for Sudbury and for Canada. That lies in developing the supply chains, the value supply chains. And that's why the announcement today is just so very important. It's historical. And I am just so pleased to be able to be here today and to celebrate with all of you. I want to acknowledge all of the hard work that you did, Mayor and Council, Chiefs, Ontario, and the federal government of Canada. We know that critical minerals are the key to our future, and we know that this project will unlock and fill that critical gap in our EV supply chains. Sudbury and Northern Ontario have the resources and the talent and the expertise to make this happen. Yesterday, I was at NORCAT's event, and to be surrounded by so many innovators and builders, it just clearly demonstrates the talent and the ingenuity that we have gathered in Northern Ontario. Realizing the potential, again, hinges on developing a robust EV supply chain, from mining and processing to battery manufacturing and recycling. And that is exactly what we're doing here today. The partnership means real development in our EV supply chain. And as we head into the 3rd annual BEV conference, it is evident that Sudbury is poised to play a major role in this transition in a clean economy. I sit on the Parliamentary Committee for Natural Resources. Many of the studies that we're undertaking talk about how do we get to net zero and how do we create that clean economy here for Canada. And I'm pleased to see it happening right here in action in Northern Ontario. I want to thank Wailu for choosing Sudbury, for not only seeing the economic benefits, but also the incredible talent and the resources that we have here. So Tristan, un sincère remerciement, and to all of the team. Thank you very much.
Thank you, MP Lapointe. I've often said that Greater Sudbury has the land, the resources, and the talent to make things happen. That's why, certainly in the last year and so, I've personally championed this project, and knowing that it will bring immense benefits to Greater Sudbury and solidify our position as the leader in the mining sector, and clearly in the critical mineral space. This is the message that I hope to leave you with today. I certainly want to thank, again, Kristen Straub and the team at Wailu, as well as the Tikmishing Anishinaabe and Wanapate First Nation for their support and partnership. I am certainly very excited for the future and look forward to working with all of you to further pursue the opportunity before us. I want to thank Meredith Armstrong, our Economic Development Director, for her support with this project's tireless efforts, a lot of hours from the whole EgDev team, so thank you for all that. We spent a lot of hours on the phone and together to certainly try to land one of these investments, and certainly we are very optimistic that others will come now that we certainly launched this first investment by a key player in the market. It is very, very, very exciting. And this commitment from Wailu to develop this world-class nickel smelter in our community demonstrates their belief and confidence in our mining cluster and in the opportunities that exist here to shape the future of mining, energy, and transportation. I once again thank all of you for being here, and I look forward to the discussions and opportunities that will emerge from today's announcement. I'll see you all probably tonight at the BEV. Merci beaucoup. Miigwech.